Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about Deuteronomy chapter 1 and 2. I'm going to quickly summarize it so I can finally finish this Deuteronomy playlist. So I actually made this after I made the last video, which was the last chapter of the Deuteronomy playlist, right? It was Deuteronomy chapter 34. So in the first half of Deuteronomy 1, God commands Moses and the Israelites to leave the area of Mount Horeb and to go take possession of the land that he promised the righteous. Not necessarily the Israelites, those who would obey God's command, who were the spiritual offspring of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and in the story. So this was after Moses had defeated a king of the Amorites, a king of Bashan, and so he appoints various wise men to be commanders and officers, and he's told by God to settle disputes, what have you, and they send spies out into the hill country of the Amorites. Okay, the Amorites who are left after he defeated one of their kings before that. Okay, so God tells them to go up and fight the Amorites, and they rebel against God because they saw that a lot of their soldiers were great fighters. Among them were their Anakites, and there's a lot of these people who are tall and strong, is how they describe it. And so God says he's going to punish them. He's not going to let Moses enter the promised land. So it has to do with Moses doing things his own way and his inability to kind of convince the Israelites to do the work of God. And there's different ways to interpret. You can interpret it as he wasn't that great of a warrior, so they didn't get inspired by him, right? The word aspire is a play on words for is spar, right? And alpha spar, and so on and so forth. Okay, so they were disheartened, and then they decided they want to go up and fight with them anyway, and God tells them through Moses to not go up and fight with them anyway. They do anyway, and they get beat, right? And they compare it to them being chased away like a swarm of bees chasing somebody. And we see that this connects to Psalm 118, right? Where all the nations surround me, but in the name of the Lord I struck them down. And it brings up Seir and Hormah. Hormah is a play on words for Horisham, and Seir is Aries. But it's not that simple, because the people in the story aren't really holy. When we're talking about the Jews, for example, they're always doing the wrong thing. We're talking about the people of Seir and Hormah according to the story. But it's interesting that there's that wordplay there, right? Just like Horeb, right? It says, be whore, right? So, when it says that Jerusalem in the sky is their mother, right? The skywalker, Jerusalem with God in the heavens, rather, in Galatians 4. And it says Mount Sinai of this world, okay, is lost in sin. Sin alpha I versus the Horus mountain in the sky. So there's a lot of jigsaw puzzle wordplay. It's not one-to-one quite often. It's a sort of jigsaw puzzle. That's why, we see in the story that people who are named after Horus are often bad people. And just like it is in Egypt, where you have Con, Hor, you have fake versions of Horus, right? So in Deuteronomy chapter 2, God basically tells them to go around the people of Esau, around the area of Seir. And he says the same thing about other groups as well. And this has to do with the exact plan that God has for the Israelites in the story. So Sihon, king of Heshbon, refused to let the Israelites in the story pass. It's very similar to America and the West and the world refusing to work around me, refusing to give me my rightful place, refusing to give me the things I need to do God's work in a way that would be much better for them. And the world is being spiritually destroyed now, just like Sihon, king of Heshbon, is said to have been defeated in the story. Now, if you interpret that defeat as some kind of mere physical defeat that's not really based in principle, a bunch of people are just afraid and confused, who aren't really great warriors, who are just following God, not knowing what to do, it's very weak compared to what's going on right now, and how the enemies of God are being utterly destroyed spiritually to the very essence of their souls and their offspring, etc.